Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, please click on like and subscribe. If you've been here before, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be taking some scraps and trying to turn them into a little bit of money. Everyone hates to see hardwood wasted. Most of us woodworkers probably have boxes and piles of wood pieces that we know we can make stuff out of and just hate to throw them away. So I've come up with a couple small projects that'll help make you a little bit of money. And they're just little small jewelry hangers. Now you can make these as simple, as complicated as you want. You can add some little notches to the top like I did on this one and I'll show in the other video. Or you can just keep them simple. Plus the good part is you can make these 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, 18 inches, basically whatever you want. And it's relatively in pieces or scrap wood. So I've got a pile of 12 to 18 inch pieces around. I'm just going to make them all 12 inches. I'm going to batch these out. I'm going to show you in the video how I'm doing the one, but I'm making all those I showed previously in one setting. This can easily be done in half a day. Not a difficult project. It does take a little bit of time. It takes more time probably to screw the hooks in than anything. But what we're going to do is we're going to clean these up. I'm going to plane them down to 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to make them 12 inches by 12 inches. And then our project's going to be 2 by 2. So I'm going to cut one strip at 2 inch, and I'm going to cut another strip at 1.25 inches. So these are pretty much 1 inch pieces anyhow, so I don't have to take a lot off of them. But again, I'm going to take these down to 3/4 of an inch. And then we're going to take them over to the table saw. We're going to cut them down to 1.25 inches and a 2 inch piece. The 1.25 inch piece will go up against the 2 inch piece, and 1.25 inches plus 3/4 is your 2 inches, so you get 2 inches square there. Now you can cut this a little bit long if you want to, but since I'm drilling holes in it, I try to get them as close as possible. If you have problems with your glue up or you're still kind of new to gluing things together, this will give you a little bit of room to actually nip the tips off so they're perfectly even on both sides. You just have to be careful, again, if you're drilling holes like I'm doing. If you take 1/8 of an inch off one side, take 1/8 inch off the other side so your holes don't look like they're crooked. So you can see the basics of it are right there. Now technically you could glue them together just like that, leave it alone and sell it as is. I'm going to put an edge on mine. You can pick whatever edge you want. You can just roll these over if you want to. I'm putting like a little crown looking edge on here just to give it a little bit of fanciness. If you're doing this, I'm using a 1/2 inch bit. I'm using a small piece of wood here. If you try to take that all off at one time, you're probably going to sling it on the other side of the room. Make sure you use the proper tools, eye protection, hand protection, and don't take off too much at a time. Another thing is you don't want this to split your wood since you're using small pieces. If you try to take out too much at one time, you might just blow a big hole in it, and you might be starting with another piece of scrap wood. So I think I'm going to take a round over edge and I'm just going to round over the bottom piece so it rounds over back towards the wall. And I've got enough room there to put in my hooks. If you want to make these deeper, you can. I'm just using these as jewelry or necklace or bracelet holders. So I don't want them super deep. And then I'm going to put some ring holders on the top or some ring pockets at the top or earring pockets, whatever you want to put in there. So I just want to roll this over to the edge a little bit. And again, depending on what you're doing, what size hooks you're using, you can make this wider or narrow or whatever you want. And again, since I'm batching these out, I'm just showing you, I'm just going to use a handheld router to round over this edge. If you're only doing one piece or if you've already got them all done, which I normally would have, I would just put that round over bit in my router table there and run them all across at one time. Now again, this is optional. If you don't have a CNC machine, obviously makes it a little more difficult to do, but you could still put pockets in the top. You could put some small tea light candle holes in the top, some 1.5 or 1.5 drill bit, drill 1.5 holes in here, make little tea lights out of it, or just make round pockets on the top to put your rings or things in. Now again, since I'm batching these out, I'm going to have this running while I'm working on some other projects. So I'm going to go ahead and get this running. Then I'm going to go over and I'm going to start on the next part of this project. Now my next step is to figure out how many hooks I want to put in this. Again, this is completely optional. The first one I did a while back, I didn't video it, but I had way too many hooks in there. I ended up with like 23 hooks in it. That would be okay for like costume jewelry or something like that, but more realistically, you probably need half of that many in there. So I'm just going to space these out to where I think it looks good. Again, you do however many you want to on yours. I think I'm going to put 7 on one row and 8 on the other row. And I'm going to offset these so you can actually see both rows while they're hanging up on the wall. Now I'm going to do these on my drill press since I have one. If you don't have a drill press, it's not necessary, especially on small screw-in anchors like we're using, or screw-in cup holders or jewelry holders, whatever you're using. You just need to make a small hole so you don't split the wood when you're putting them in. I'm going to mark the center of my wood, then I'm going to go over to my drill press, mark the center of the board with the drill bit, and then mark my depth, which is about a 1/2 inch. I want it to bite a little bit into the wood, but I don't want to force it through the hardwood all the way down in. So once you get your drill press set up, or however you're going to do this, again, I'm doing multiple, so the drill press is going to work easier for me because I can do all my pieces at one time. I can just push them all through here, all my bottom pieces through at one time. Once I mark my top pieces, I can push all the top pieces through. And there's a little pockets for the rings. Again, you could use an 1.5-inch drill bit if you want to, a Forstner bit or Forstner bit, and just make small round circles in the top if you wanted. Sand out the little small spot in the middle. Now I'm going to hit this with some sanding because it's easier to sand now than once you get it together. I'm going to make sure I get all my pencil marks off. I'm going to make sure there's any burrs, anything like that. And I'm going to take this down to a 120. Sometimes you can do a 180. You don't really need to do a 220 or anything like that, but that's, again, up to you how you want it finished. I would do at least a 120. That seems to let oil or sealant, depending on what you're going to put on here. If you're going to shellac it, if you're going to put poly on here, if you're just going to oil it or wax it, finish it to whatever finish that you like. And once the CNC is done with this one, I'm going to peel it off. I'm going to go ahead and stick my next piece on since I'm batching these out. Hit the print button, and then I'm going to go back to sanding over here. I'm going to sand this piece down. I want to hit the top of it where my pockets are. I don't want to dig into them. I want to keep the shape of the pockets. So be careful when you're sanding this. You don't round them over. If you want to make them smoother, you can take the edge of your sander. You can hand sand them and make that a nice soft roll-in edge versus a straight edge. I'm just going to leave them a straight pocket edge. I think it'll be easier to keep rings or earrings or something like that in without them flipping out or falling out on whoever's going to use it. So I'm ready to mark my top holes here. I'm just going to take my bottom piece, lay it up against here, and then again I'm going to offset my holes. Just measure it out to whatever you like. Again, you don't have to offset them. You could put them straight in line with each other. You could do 3, you could do 5, you could do 10. Whatever looks good to you. And once you get them marked, back over to the drill press and punch them all out again. After that, we're going to go back over one last sanding, get all the pencil marks, anything else you got on there, smooth it all out, and we're ready to glue after that. Now I'm not going to use any brad screws or anything like that. I'm just going to let the glue do the work. The piece hangs on the wall from the bottom part, and it's not meant to have any pressure or anything like that on, so the glue is going to be super strong. And if you want, you can do a couple drops of CA glue like I did just to hold it in place while you're clamping it. If not, if you just set it on there, let the glue start to tack up, give it a couple minutes, and that'll help keep it sliding around from you, or sliding around on you. That way you get the piece nice and straight. Clamp it together, and then make sure you get all your excess off. I usually take a little extra time and take a small screwdriver or a punch or something and get all that glue out of there. Now when we go to hang, I'm going to use a key slot on mine. You can use a key slot. You can use, you can just drill a couple holes in there and run screws through the face of it. You could put a couple clips on the back and just hang it on the wall. The key slots are a little bit more difficult because you've got to kind of set up a jig for it. And they're small key slots, so it's not like you're doing super big key slots. The problem you're going to see me run into in a second here is if you've got a vacuum in the back, if you don't open your ports in the front, basically what I did is I just sucked my piece to the back, so as I'm trying to pull it forward, I'm fighting myself on the key slot. Either way, I mustered my way through it. You do your key slots the way you want to, or again, you can fix it however you want so it hangs on the wall. And I'm just making sure I get everything off the back. I want that perfectly smooth so it fits flush on the wall. Now I left this part in here just in case anyone needed to know or wanted to know how I did my key slot. I basically set up a stop block on the left hand side there. I measured how far down I want the board to slide in, and I'm going to lay it up against the flat edge on the left there, push it down, and then I'm going to pull it forward to me. You could do this the opposite way if you wanted to. You could set it up backwards so you could push it up towards the fence instead of away from the fence. Entirely up to you what you feel more comfortable doing. And again, my brain was in record mode, not in paying attention mode. So I had the vacuum on when I did this, so I made it look a lot more tough than it was, because basically I was just sucking my piece right to the back there. After I did the first one, I did the rest of them without the vacuum on. It's a little bit messier, but you're not fighting the piece the entire time. Once you get that done, basically reverse it, put it on the other side. I just use the inside of my vacuum port there for a straight edge. So I basically lined it up on both sides with that because it's even. And since I'm doing all of them the same, when I go to hang them on the wall for display or for taking pictures for Etsy or something like that, all my pieces will be exactly the same. I don't have to worry about every time I make this project, I do it the same way, and I can repeat the holes no matter what. If I made this 18 inches, there'd be a problem. But for 12 inches, anything 12 inches wide, the keyholes will be in the same spot every time. So you can finish this any way you want. Again, you can use shellac, you can use poly, you can use wax and feed or feed and wax. You can just leave it natural like it is. It's entirely up to you. For this one, I'm going to use shellac on it because shellac's fast and easy. Shellac's easier than spray poly. Shellac will actually remelt on itself. So basically, if you get a little blob or something, when you put the next layer on, as long as it's not a super big blob, the shellac is a lot more forgiving than poly. You've got to put more coats on, and it doesn't give you the exact same sheen, but it still makes it look really nice without a lot of effort. A little bit more effort, again, I would put some feed and wax on there. That's my preferred substance. These are just small half-inch hooks. They're like cup hooks. I got them on Amazon. I think I paid $5 for 100 of them. You can buy bigger quantities if you're going to do multiples of these. You can buy different shades, different sizes, different shapes, different colors. I've got, the basics. I got like a bronze, a silver, brass, and black. This particular piece, I think the chrome or the silver look better on the walnut, so I'm going to use that. And since these are from another country and not the most expensive hooks in the world, you may have to take a pair of pliers like I did and just snug them up or straighten them out a little bit. And when you get done, you basically end up with something like that. And again, you don't need to put the pockets on the top, completely optional. And sorry about the dark color on the wall. This room's not really lit up really well for filming. I've tried different colors on the light there. The 5000 there helps out a little bit. But you get the idea. Basically, make it out of whatever you want. Fast and easy seller, made from leftover wood. And you can sell these for anywhere from $40 to $60 online, depending on the day of the week. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Please click on like, subscribe, click on the notifications, drop a comment down below. And if you really like the video, hit that super thanks button. That'll help me out and help the channel grow.